Within the great Granite State of New Hampshire on this Tuesday, June the 21st, in the year of our Lord 2016. The call-in number is 602-0573 if you wish to converse with yours truly. Got again, another full day. Got a full boat. Probably not going to get, well, no probably about it. We're not going to get to it all. It's just the way it is. Never get to it all. Only got 3 hours. Quick 3 hours here. Might I remind folks that as the summer, marches on, you will notice some changes, minor and probably a couple of major changes to the radio program, the style, the format, the website, rodeccles.net. Don't forget that, as well as our interaction with most of our social media. We're looking at Instagram right now. I know I probably said I wasn't going to get involved in it anymore, but Instagram has got some fun stuff. No, we're not doing Snapchat. So people, I get people ask me, well, you going to do Snap? I guess it's the younger crowd. Yeah, I'm sorry, kiddies. I'm not doing Snapchat. I can't do everything. So we're not doing Snapchat, but we're looking at Instagram now. And I say we, there is another person involved in this who's actually a very good photographer. I happen to think that I'm a very good amateur photographer myself. I took photography in high school and in college. So I know how to do it old school. I actually, back in the day, before there were digital cameras, there was this stuff called film. And your camera had to be loaded with film in order to capture images. They weren't captured digitally. And I learned old school. We had in my high school, not that we were a poor district, but I guess photography class was so poor. But we didn't have a true full-fledged dark room. And what I mean by that is, in a dark room, what they used to do is they used to buy the film, 35 millimeter film, basically in these bulk rolls, because you go to the store and you'd buy the 35 millimeter film and it would come in 20 frames for 20 pictures or 30 pictures. Well, they used to buy these huge rolls that had some 100 frames per roll. So you had to actually cut off what you needed to utilize, because they also had, we had a number of different style, and this was for the film because we had the large format camera. They had one, and they had a bunch of 35 millimeter cameras at the time. So everybody got to use those cameras, but you'd had to do an assignment for a photography class, so you had to only be able to use so much film. Well, obviously you don't want to go to the store and buy a roll of even 12 frames on it. If your time, you got to develop and waste film. And take it out of the bag, and then you get to look. in like Walgreens or some drugstores that they used to have, 1 hour photo and that kind of stuff. They don't have that stuff anymore. So, and I haven't looked for it. I don't know where you can get film developed, other than looking online and sending it off somewhere, which means that, it's going to take some time for you to get your photos back, if you get them back at all. And make it unusable. So that was a disadvantage. There's some himself to be a very good photographer. He's pretty much he's an amateur photographer. Well, I guess you could call him a near professional. He'd be in the lower rungs of of photography professionals, if you will. I'm a decent amateur photographer, so we're looking at the possibilities of doing something on Instagram. As well as we're in the works of looking at production for a YouTube channel. Yeah, I know. I said I would never do YouTube. I would rather be behind the microphone instead of in front of a camera. But we're looking at different things for production of a YouTube channel. All this stuff is going to get worked on over the summer. It may not. Some of it may come to pass, some of it may not. We may just decide that, well, it's too much work or not worth the time or effort. But we'll see. We're working on it. So some changes for that coming, which means that, if we did Instagram or a YouTube channel, there would have to be some room put on the website, rodeccles.net, to make for some big, huge changes on that would have to come for that kind of stuff. And, we're just looking at a ton of other things, and we'll be making some tweaks to the site as the weeks and months go along, as well as some major changes. You'll probably notice in the next couple of weeks there'll be a big change. If you've noticed already that there is a change to the website, it is now not the website is now, even though it's at rodeccles.net, is no longer called the Rod Eccles Show website. It is called rodeccles.net. And there's a reason for that, because obviously on this program we're doing a lot more than just this radio program. So it better reflects, I guess if you want to call my name a brand now, it better reflects the brand. There will be pages There are still pages for what's on the show, and those will be more populated on a more frequent basis going forward as well. A lot of good and interesting stuff. And this is just look. We're as technology changes, as people's desires and people's interests change, we're trying to keep up with that kind of stuff as well and make things more accessible so you get to the parts of the program and the website that you want to get to without being, inundated with a bunch of other stuff that you don't want to be bothered with. I try to respect people's time. If you want to, if you want to be more interested in the radio program, well, there's going to be sections of the website that cater only to the radio program. If you want to be more interested in my appearances all over the country, well, there's sections of the site that'll be geared towards just that. If you want to know what I'm reading or read the books and buy the books that I write or what other people that I may have or may not have on the program or reading and writing, there'll be a section for that. There'll be, it'll just be a lot more easily laid out for people to be able to see and to interact. If you want to be able to, interact and discuss. Now, I don't think we're going to add a forum page or site because why? There are too many other places where you can go, and I think basically what we'll probably end up using, not Facebook, we'll probably end up using Twitter as our forum platform. Simply because, well, one, you have to be brief and 140 characters or less, and it gets to be a lot more difficult for people to keep a dead subject going on Twitter than it does on your own forum. And not to mention, forum pages get rather cluttered, and it takes a lot of data space. And they're just not all that exciting or useful anymore. There used to be a time when forum pages were the deal, where they were it. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So, we'll keep going as we keep going. But anyway, got a lot to a lot to talk about Donald Trump. Coming up this morning, I got some more information on complete labor and staffing, and this really is kind of a national thing, I'm finding out. So we'll get into that a little bit as well as some of the stuff that's going on in Brexit and some of the other news that you probably are hearing from the lamestream media. We'll get into all that stuff and more right here on the Rod Eccles Show as we continue. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L-Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Hi, this is Matt Legore. Listen to me Fridays 4 to 5 p.m. on WLMW 90.7. We'll be talking about entrepreneurship, personal growth, business, or anything else inspiring. See you then.
Hello, this is Dr. Roger Gosselin of the Dr. Roger Gosselin Health and Wealth Show. Make sure to tune in Thursdays at 5 o'clock right here at 90.7 FM WLMW to find out more about what the drug companies don't want you to know.
How would you love to have your very own money-making website? Well, now you can. Just visit onlinehealthsource.net and become an affiliate, promoting and selling some of today's hottest new products like anti-aging creams, supplements for him or her, HGH products, weight loss supplements, and much, much more. That's onlinehealthsource.net, offering you the chance to earn great money online, promoting products that everyone wants. onlinehealthsource.net. Sign up today and start your own online business right now.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Six 603-672-0573 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, El Rod. Over the weekend, the Yelchin thing. There's more news coming out of the Anton Yelchin death, and as I mentioned yesterday, this was one of those. It was a freak thing that makes you think about the movie's Final Destination. Now, it really is freaky that such a thing would happen to this 27-year-old young man. Now, the new thing that is coming out that I heard late yesterday and again this morning is that Mr. Yelchin was driving a Jeep SUV, Jeep Cherokee. And evidently, the Jeep Cherokee is under some sort of recall. If I'm not mistaken, some sort of recall. And it has to do with this transmission. There have been, I guess, a few hundred incidents reported about this where people will put the transmission in park, and that somehow it slips into neutral. Well, evidently, Mr. Yelchin. Now, again, I don't know the full details because you read this stuff and they not. What are they teaching in journalism school? Are they really teaching journalism? They're not reporting all the facts all at once. So you're trying to get facts from here and facts from there, and you got to work at it in order to get the facts. You're supposed to be able to read a story and get all the facts. And if they don't have all the facts, they're supposed to tell you, well, the story is still developing. We don't have all the facts yet. We're working on it. They don't even tell you that. They just give you all these little itty bitty pieces that they keep adding on to. And half the time the stuff is wrong, or they even contradict themselves within the same article by the same journal, quote-unquote journalist or author of the piece. So you get confused. So I got to admit, listening to and reading different pieces about the death of Anton Yelchin, I'm still a little confused about what happened. But as I can piece it together, this is what I gather. He was driving his Jeep Cherokee or Grand Cherokee. One story says Cherokee, another says Grand Cherokee. So I'm going to assume it was a Grand Cherokee because he was an actor making probably a couple $1 million a year. He wasn't a poor starving actor anymore. He was doing a lot of work. And 3 Star Trek films under his belt, probably buffeted his bank account quite a bit. So I'm going to assume that Mr. Yelchin had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which is one of the subjects, I guess, of a potential recall. Again, the stories weren't clear if there was an actual recall going on, or if there's a potential recall, or if they're trying to force a recall. Because 3 different stories that I read gave me 3 different answers to that. So I'm just trying to put this together for you. In any particular case, Mr. Anton's Jeep Grand Cherokee evidently has had reports of the transmission not staying in park and slipping into neutral. Now, evidently, his driveway, I guess it was at his home, his driveway is on a slight incline. And that for whatever reason, I can't believe that he was getting out to close his gate. I would think that you would have a power gate, but I don't know. Again, the stories were not clear on what he was doing. But he was out of his Jeep, out of the driver's seat. He evidently probably put the vehicle in park. It slipped into neutral for whatever reason, or maybe he left it in neutral. Don't know. The vehicle rolled back, pinned him against the fence and or wall. Again, different stories saying different things. A fence or wall, crushing him. So that's the intel that I can put together. It's a freak accident that somehow it just doesn't make any sense. Which kind of makes me always want to think, look, I'm not a superstitious type of person. And I also believe that people are in charge to a certain degree of their own fate. But there are also things that I think are written in the stars, as you will. God has already written in the book of life what happens to us based on our choices that we've made thus far. And again, maybe Mr. Yelchin had avoided the angel of death in a previous time, and this was just the time for the angel of death to choose to finally take him away. I don't know, or maybe he was on the verge of doing something special, and so forces of evil needed to take him out. There could be a number. It just could be that he just made a stupid mistake and left his vehicle in neutral, and that was just it. He just made a mistake, and it cost him his life. I don't know. And to listen to people speculate about what was the cause and what was the problem, and the Jeep, it was definitely the Jeep, and nobody knows right now. I mean, they can't even get the news people can't even get the facts straight. Nobody knows what happened to Anton Yelchin. They obviously know that he was crushed by his own vehicle. But that's it. We don't know all the surrounding details, evidently. I'm not even sure. Exactly what happened yet. Is it really important? Yes. It's important because it depicts and shows and proves just how bad our lamestream reporting is getting. I mean, it's terrible. They can't even get the simple facts of a simple freak accident down. Think of this. Go back and look at the movie Zoolander. What was it? The gasoline fight that they had, gasoline water fight that they had. It was a freak gasoline fight accident. Even models, beautiful people, beautiful models can die in a freak gasoline fight accident. Do you think that the lamestream media today would have been able to get that story straight? I mean, just think if it was a real life story. Do you think they would have been able to have gotten all the facts straight on that story? I guarantee you that they wouldn't. They wouldn't be able to. And look, I'm not just placing the liberal left in this either. I mean, the right, the so-called right-leaning media also has its own problems with being idiotic and not getting the facts straight. I don't know what they're teaching in journalism school anymore, but they're obviously not teaching journalism. I'm not a journalist, and I know how to be a journalist. You find all the facts that you possibly can, And you print the facts. Not your own opinion. You print the facts. And you let everybody know that more facts could be coming as a story develops and more information becomes available. Not that you already know everything and then have to go back and change everything after you realize you don't know everything and you got everything else wrong. Isn't that what they did with Orlando? 50 died. No, 60.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book Husband 2.0 Real Male Enhancement on Amazon.com.
Hey folks, if you're anything like me, you spend a lot of time taking photos with your mobile phone or posting them to Facebook or Instagram. Well, did you know that you can actually be earning hundreds, even thousands of dollars each month just by uploading them to Instagram? Now, most people are skeptical at first, but this system is the real deal. You can get your hands on an evaluation copy of Instagram Profit, and you can be ready to see money flowing into your account. There are over 150 million users on Instagram, yet less than 1% of them are taking advantage of these money-making secrets. Now, if they knew they could be paying their rent, making their on the Instagram, I bet they would be glued to their cell phones. There are only a limited number of these spots available, however. So if you visit moneymatters3.com right now, you can sign up to take advantage of
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a geographically challenged rock band delivering a commencement speech. Hello, graduates! Here's a song called Adulthood is Scary, but Progressive is Snapshot. Plug it in and save money for being a safe driver. Let me hear you, Kansas City, New York?
Safe drivers save with Snapshot from Progressive.
Now you're wearing a stupid hat. Congrats! No, but really, where are we?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Snapshot not available in all states.
With the truth, with all the evidence that they possibly can. You know when these people are going to realize that they were wrong? The millisecond before an radical Islamist puts a bullet in their head. That's when they'll realize it, not before. So I wanted to throw my hands up and just say, that's it, I'm done. I can't deal with these absolute complete nut jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say equal amount, but there are people who are equally nut jobs on the right as well, blaming everything that this country is going through that is bad on Democrats. Well, that's a bunch of bogus BS too. But you see a lot of this stuff from the left, and what's worse is the lamestream media will not even attempt to correct these people. Won't even attempt to. You know, how many times have we heard, when it comes to a mass shooting, it's always a Republican's fault. It's Rush Limbaugh's fault, or it's Sarah Palin's fault, or it's that Republican's fault. And then we come to realize that after they do the investigation, that the person that did the shooting was a card-carrying leftist that never listened to Rush Limbaugh. You know, I don't. It is just, and you get these leftists that are that come out and say, well, that's hate speech, and you shouldn't be allowed to say that. It's hate speech because I say that it's radical Islam, which isn't really radical, by the way. It's just normal. It's Islam that is at fault for the Orlando shooting, for the San Bernardino shooting. Well, Rod, Sandy Hook wasn't Islam. No, we're told it was some nut job kid whose mother that he killed was also a Democrat, but she had guns. So she was a strange Democrat that had guns. By the way, there are quite a few Democrats out there who have guns. I don't understand how you can be so hypocritical. How can you support a party who wants to take away your gun rights? No, they don't want to take away my gun rights. They just want to they just want to keep criminals from getting guns. Which brings me to the next point, is the 4 bills that were being discussed and filibustered and, touted in the Senate yesterday. Not two from the Republican side and 2 from the Democrat side. None of them would have prevented any of the mass shootings over the last 20 years. None of them. None of them would have prevented any of the mass shootings of the last 20 years. None of those bills. They would not have prevented the Orlando gay club shooting. And I don't even know why we got to keep saying it's a gay club. The American nightclub Pulse in Orlando, Florida, was attacked by an Islamic terrorist. I don't care where he was born. He was born in America, but I don't care where. He was an Islamic terrorist, plain and simple. What is so hard to understand? When you got a guy who's calling 911 and telling everybody else that ISIS is good, ISIS is great, and Allah Akbar, and all that kind of stuff, then he's not a Christian. And he's going to get the gun that he wants anyway. And if he doesn't get a gun, all he's going to do is just strap on a bomb to his body and walk in and blow up 300 people instead of only shooting and killing 49. Come on! You know what the gun does? You know why these people are using guns? Because it is more frightening to use a gun than a bomb.